Welcome. This is the limited series of the Wine of the Month Club for April of 2013.
You just said that.
I said that previously when we were doing the Vintner series.
Was there an echo in here?
No.
I have all these fancy walls, padded walls. And that's like
Yeah, he lives in a padded cell for good reason, I might add. By the way, we got to mention something here. We got to mention that a very important wine person passed away a few weeks ago. That was Jim Barrett from Chateau Montelena.
Did he? I did not know that.
Yeah, 88 years old.
Wow.
And your father and I did the very first tasting that he ever did of Chateau Montelena wines in 1974.
I remember he was a neighbor in PV. He visited the shop frequently. He asked my dad to carry the wines just because he was tired of everybody asking him for them. So he wanted a place to send them. Just go to PV Wines and get them. And my dad was kind enough to do it, though not knowing what was going to happen in the future.
Well, he actually featured the wines, too.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine buying the Chardonnay that won the 76 tasting in Paris for $6?
I know. Now, that actually brings up the fact that this is the 40th, well, actually, May is our 40th anniversary.
41st.
However, we did feature some wines in March and April of the 1972, but officially my dad launched it in May of 72. So we went back to 73, 40 years earlier, to see what wines we had. And there was no limited series, there was no Vintner series, it was just the classic series. And it was $2.89. $2.89.
A bottle. Well, I remember buying wines for $1.79 at PV Wines and Spirits that were fabulous.
That was Wente Blanc de Blanc.
Right.
And the Ricasoli
Valpolicella.
which, interesting wines.
Yeah, I mean, Ricasoli is a big deal in Chianti. What they were doing over in the Veneto making Valpolicella is beyond me, but, Anyway, we're getting down to Broken Earth Tempranillo. Now, this is a fascinating story because I'm reading this story and I'm going, this is Rancho Tierra Rajada. Well, that's Herman Schwartz, who I bought grapes from.
Say that fast 3 times. Rancho Tierra Rajada.
Rancho Tierra Rajada in Paso Robles. I bought grapes from him when I was at HMR in 1983. Okay, just 10 years after.
That's amazing.
30 years ago. So I sent the guy an email. I go, hey, is this, is he still involved? And he said, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Small world.
This is fabulous Tempranillo and from California.
Absolutely incredible. Well, this is a great vineyard. I mean, Rancho Tierra Rajada, we used to get Sauvignon Blanc from him, as did a lot of people. And now they've expanded and they're growing a lot of different grapes. But it's a really great area and it's a really well cared for vineyard.
You just don't get Tempranillo from California and maybe it's because it's Paso, because I don't think I've had a Napa or a Sonoma Tempranillo that's has as much depth as this does.
Can you say that once?
No.
That was good. This is really, really good. $23.99 on the shelf, $15.99 on a reorder price. And I don't care what the grape is. It's just a delicious bottle of wine, and I'm giving it a 95.
Great balance. Great old, actually kind of old world, isn't it?
It is a little bit. Yeah, it is. I don't know that I'd confuse it with a Rioja.
No, you're certainly not going to confuse it with Spanish, but it doesn't taste like California fruit forward,
No, it's got some reserve to it, and it's got like we do.
Here's a wine that Ed, call me Petit Verdot Cabernet. Okay, it's got about what 5-6 grapes in it?
No, 4.
Three. Merlot, Cabernet, Petit Verdot, Petit Syrah. Okay, so it's a Bordeaux blend. No, it's not.
If you don't count the Petit Syrah.
Sorry. They were very close to a Bordeaux. They're 93% a Bordeaux blend. Is that a particular appellation?
Yeah, that's kind of a better percentage than we got going here, I'll tell you that.
And these are the same guys. First of all, it's very unusual the Wine Month Club would feature the same winery in the same month, but the wines are so great. That's my job, right? Send the best wines I can for the value, and I love both of them. So we bought them both, and that actually gave us a little more buying power, so we got the prices where you can get this for $14.99. When it's on the shelf for $24.99. So,
$14.99. That is incredible. This has got some real interesting. It has almost a coconutty and cocoa component in there. Very, very complex.
I get the cocoa for sure.
And I get a little almost marzipan, which I normally don't like by itself, but I think it works beautifully in this. It's a very complex wine.
It's got a little more acid than the previous wine, but it's really good.
Really, this is fabulous, actually. I'd forgotten how good this was. I'm giving this a 96. I think this is delicious.
It'll stand up to a lot of game meats and other foods like that.
Well, I hope so. because you never know what I'm
You
going
never
to.
know go shooting.
You never know what I'm going to throw at it.
So we went to the family winemakers tasting in La Jolla. Took Dad out. You guys will be seeing some videos and some pictures from that day with my dad out tasting again. And we ran into some old friends. But the notable thing that was happening at Del Mar that day was the gun show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, half a mile long at noon to get into the gun show while guys are walking out with ammo boxes like this, 1,000 rounds at a time, right? Because you can't buy ammo right now. And but we ran into Montgomery Paulson,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Pat Paulson's
son of Pat Paulson. Mm-hmm. And he's coming in to do a video with Ed and I one of these days, and we'll get you out the wines. The wines are really actually quite good.
That's what I've heard. I haven't tasted him yet. We've been in contact to do some work together, and I'm dying to meet him because I knew his dad really well. He was a great guy, funnier than hell.
He was
one of the funniest people I ever met in my life.
And I'll tell you this, Montgomery, when you meet him, you're gonna go, whoa, because he's got that same dryness.
Oh, really?
It looks like him.
Yeah,
it's really funny. This is Trebbiano Chardonnay from Toscana, actually. Mm-hmm. So Chardonnay not being part of the official grapes of that AVA, if you call it an AVA appellation.
But it's they got to do something with the Trebbiano. You see, that's where the problem is. Trebbiano used to have to put Trebbiano in Chianti because it needed acidity, and they didn't know how to grow red grapes with good acidity and still have flavor. When they learned how to do that, then they didn't need the Trebbiano anymore. So they had all these guys growing Trebbiano. What do you do with it? Well, now you got to concentrate on it and make it a decent wine on its own. So the best way to do that is to blend other grapes into it, like Chardonnay, and this works incredibly well.
It's really good because sometimes when you blend these grapes that aren't sort of indigenously grown together, in the sense of the Chardonnay is really from Burgundy, France, and then you grow it in Italy. Sometimes they don't blend well, but I don't get any separation here.
No, I think it's terrific.
Component-wise, I taste them both. I mean, it's a nice merge.
$22.99 on the shelf, $13.99 on the reorder price, and this is one of those light wines that you kind of pass off without thinking about unless you really concentrate on it. And then you have it with food, and it is a totally different wine. And I'm giving it a 95.
I like 95 too, but what's it, Mission? Is it Mission bring that in? He's a great wine importer. Yeah, Mission Wines.
Yeah.
He's as Italian as you can get. He comes, I can barely understand him. He's so Italian. He has to hug me when he walks into the office. You have to talk about your family first before you talk about wine, which is the same thing to them. And then you can start talking business. And he just does great things for us.
Gee, I'm Italian. I don't do any of that.
I don't hug you either.
That's for sure.
So
your dad I'll hug, and your mom,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, but that's things. Every generation, things drop off, as you know.
Oh, really?
Personality, smarts.
I don't know. When I grow up, I want to be just like my kid. I absolutely love these wines. I mean, I love white Bordeaux. The problem I'm having with them, and I tasted a slew of the 2009 vintage last year that were out of this world, except for the fact that they all had too much oak in it.
This is great. You know what? What happened with this wine? The first impression I got was a Semillon. I got that sort of tropical, and I got that slight viscosity, and then it turned to Sauvignon Blanc. To get that classical blend is great. 60% Sauvignon Blanc, 40%
What you
Semillon.
really get out of this wine is the soil. You get the gravel, you get rocks, you get a little granite, you get a little chalk, and that all mixes with these grapes that are grown under pretty difficult situations. Soil-wise, and that's what gives them the character.
You're right.
It's kind of like me. I was growing up under different circumstances, and that's why I got the character.
Under difficult circumstances.
Yeah, well, I lived my whole life in difficult circumstances.
Though I do appreciate you filling in for me at the big tasting on Friday night at somebody's house, and that was quite successful. That we
ran into a couple who said to say hello to your parents because they were neighbors.
In PV?
Right there on Via Segovia.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow.
It's amazing, you run into this all the time. Come on, you run into this all the time.
Yeah, but Via Segovia is like the most obscure street in PV.
It's about 2 blocks long.
And there's only, when my parents lived there, there's only like 5 houses on it.
Right,
so
exactly.
Now it's got 10.
Yeah, it's doubled in size.
I'm giving this a 94.
I'm doing a 95. I love it.
Really good.
I love these wines anyway. I mean, I love this area, and this is a terrific wine for $13.99. I mean, honestly, you're going to go out and spend $25-$30 for good white Bordeaux. That's not anywhere near as good as this. So there.
Hey, that's the limited series for April 2013. See ya. Classic.